still having some of these issues. Use refresher. One thing that I don't like about it is like whenever I try to use the OpenAI issue is it isn't trained on its own application, and that's kind of like stupid. I don't know why you would do that. Like it's your model, just like Gemini should be trained on Gemini functionality, ChatGPT should be trained on OpenAI's functionality. Is error in my railway logs? Your API. That you would be able to solve it. Here's what it's pulling article processor file. What's the other one? Oh, server tree. And this is just early innings. Like this isn't even what we really want to be building. To be honest, it's the tail end. Package.json. Package block JSON. I wonder if it's just something like it's a mismatch between the package JSON and the package lock file. That would be great, but that's probably not what's happening. And then hyperbrowser, yes. Let's see if these new models are as good as they say they are. Again, I don't know why they wouldn't train it on their own models. That's one of the most frustrating parts. Is like half the time, to properly use the OpenAI API, I'm using Claude to help me figure out how that would work. This answer the error I'm getting? They're talking about Supabase SQL. Oh. That has nothing to do with what I'm facing. I can handle that later. I don't need to do that right now. Okay, let's go ahead and run that. so there's an error. Well, then give me the command without comment. Okay, 4.95. Hopefully it'll gradually understand that I'm .js file. I would like to switch back to like 4, but essentially I'm asking it over and over again, like, hey, can you clean this up for me? And hopefully it'll help me by updating it. Okay, we'll get that. But the problem is I've heard that it cannot write code for shit, so. So we'll see. That actually is. See if that actually does the job. I doubt it though. I've just always heard that it cannot do stuff very well. You know, it's supposed to be the best at coding. I've just been hearing that O3 is never pushing like valuable code. But I wonder if that's because the people who are writing with it aren't using it the way I'm using it. Like, because developers are, I could understand why they would say like it's not really useful or it's not really going to be useful, because they might be including it with the code that they're writing, and I don't have the capabilities to do that. So I'm gonna let this cook for a second. See, look, it just crashed. Okay, so we'll come back and see. Okay, cool. It did the updates pretty quickly. So here we go. New, finish it. We'll just ask it right here. Currently read. Okay, it's kind of helping me a little bit. Okay, so I'm taking that top part, so the first 2 lines. But where is that const OpenAI here? That's not the first 2 lines. Okay. So update, it should look like this. Okay, cool. So this should be okay. So that should work. Let's see if it actually worked. This stuff is so like tedious. That's why I don't like doing back-end deployment, because if you don't know code, it is so much harder to get right than front end. Front end's pretty easy comparatively, because with front end it's kind of going from a visual standpoint and updating like what your code should do. So it's like, hey, when they click on this button, it should do this. Like, that's pretty straightforward. But this is like kind of like connecting all these things together. It really should read the same, and that's the thing that's the most annoying part about it, at least to me, is like APIs are written as a way to communicate between programs. A computer can communicate with a program, but for some reason, like, I rarely get APIs to work. Like, rarely. And I don't quite understand it. And so when I tell people to get comfortable, like, waiting in the mud, like, this is the mud right now. It's just kind of looking around and just seeing, like, okay, like, maybe I'll try 04 mini high and see if you can build something. But I told you before that, see, look, like, what, if you're telling me what the error means, then change the error. So we'll see. Because you remember I posted a video a couple weeks ago about why I switched over to Claude, and it was because 01, 03 mini high, and 4.0 were actively coding against each other, and and it was ruining my code. So I'm gonna give this a couple more tries, and then like this is probably the last try, and then I'm gonna switch back over to Claude and see if Claude can help me. Oh, this is nice. It literally gave me exactly what I asked for instead of like trying to explain stuff. Commit push to GitHub. And I might not even film this part where I'm just going back and forth. I might put this on like some crazy type of time loop, because if I'm just going to do this for an hour and a half, this is not going to be a good content for anyone. At least that's how I feel it should be, or it could be. Because it's gonna, like, at this point, it's like, okay, I'm just expecting it to fail every single time I do anything with it. And then one day, it won't fail. And this is just about putting reps up. And luckily, you don't get charged for every time you pull it. Because, oh my gosh, is it pulling? It should be 527 or 427. So it's not even the right error logs yet. I also wish you could force. Like, I just want to get to a point where like it can deploy properly. That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like not even. What my server JS now is. See if they have anything for me. Oh, it still crashed. Oh, see, that's the thing. ChatGPT never once said you should be updating your article processor. And that's what I mean. That's kind of the problem. This is kind of the problem. Like, it should have said, hey, you need to update your article processing. But instead, it just kept going off like, hey, like, this thing isn't working, this thing isn't working, and it never once looked into a different file, which I'm pretty sure it has because I gave it all of the. Shoot, it deleted the article processor file. No wonder it's not working. I accidentally deleted it. I guess when I was trying to save it. That's wild. So that could be the reason why. It never told me that I didn't have it. But it could have been this whole time messing up because it didn't have the article processor in there. And I should probably make sure that all of them are not in a place where they are going to get deleted if I press the wrong button. Okay, see where. So we are. Sometimes the worst is when it'll deploy and then it'll deploy for hours, and I'll get an email in the middle of the night that says, "Hey, your railway crashed." Like, great. I don't even know what I'm even doing right here. I'm pretty sure this is the hyper browser. I think this is what I'm working on right now. I think. Yep, crashed again. Bro, this is crazy. Like, why weren't you already using the direct API? I don't even want to use the SDK. In fact, what's the difference? Why was it ever using the SDK? I don't even understand. I never asked it to do that. I assumed I was always using product. I assumed I was always using the I assumed I was always using the API. Okay.